This is Chengdu, Sichuan province at night. The city that was once brightly lit is now dark. Not only are outdoor advertisements, subway lights, and building signs turned off, but street lights and even traffic lights have been shut down in some areas. Due to the heat and widespread power outages, people who could not use air conditioners could not stand the heat and had to look for a place to escape from the heat. Most hotels and shopping malls were closed, and underground garages became the first choice for the elderly and children to escape from the heat. The subway station has also become like a summer resort for people. There are also people hiding in the ancient tombs to keep cool. In the past few days, many villagers in Qingsheng County, Sichuan, have been enjoying the shade in the ancient Reifengya tombs, and some people have even set up tables and played cards in the tombs. This underground supermarket in Nanchong, Sichuan province is still open, and it's crowded with citizens who come to escape from the summer heat. Others chose to soak in the water to cool down, and thousands gathered by the Jialing River to escape from the heat. But not everyone can find a place to stay cool. Because of the power and water outages, many elderly people have died from the heat in their homes. According to netizens, 7 people died of the heat in a small town in Sichuan. 6 old people died in Nanchong. Dazhou is one of the hottest areas in Sichuan this year. According to netizens, 10 elderly people have died in the hospital due to high temperatures. For the past few days, about half of China's land area has experienced the strongest and longest heat wave in history, with temperatures in many places continuing to exceed 40 degrees Celsius. Beibei in Chongqing has a high temperature as high as 45 degrees Celsius, constantly breaking historical records. According to information from China Weather Network, as of August 21st, the Central Meteorological Observatory has issued a high temperature warning for 32 consecutive days, of which the highest level of red warning has been issued for 10 consecutive days, from the 12th to the 21st. The number of high temperature days above 35 degrees Celsius in the main urban area of Hangzhou has reached 52 days, and 12 days above 40 degrees, ranking first in history and ranking first in the national heat-resistant list. Fuzhou and Chongqing tied for second with 26 consecutive days of high temperatures, while Shanghai and Wuhan tied for third with 19 days. The daily maximum temperature in Fuzhou and Hangzhou broke the highest record since 1951, while Xujiahui in Shanghai tied the record for the highest temperature in more than 100 years. So far, the Jiangsu Provincial Meteorological and Traffic Police Department released the first provincial-level high surface temperature forecast, predicting that the surface temperature in some parts of the province could reach a maximum of 68 degrees Celsius, and vehicles may face the danger of tire blowout when driving. According to a report by China's CCTV on August 21st, under the continuous high temperature and drought, the water level of the Outages section of the Yangtze River has reached the lowest level in the same period since hydrological records began in 1865. Currently, it should be the flood season, but the river shore is as wide as the dry season in winter. Located in the Outages section of the Yangtze River in Hubei, the largest reef base of the Guanyin Pavilion, known as the first pavilion of the Yangtze River, with a history of 700 years, was exposed on the 18th, while it normally would have been surrounded by river water in the same periods in the past. In addition to Guanyin Pavilion, Chinese media disclosed on August 21st that the water level of the Leshan Giant Buddha in Leshan City, Sichuan Province, was much lower than the normal water level in the same period in August last year, revealing the full picture of the Buddha, attracting many tourists to visit. Extreme heat and no rain have also led to massive droughts. According to the latest news, as of the 21st, about 2.2 million hectares of arable land in 9 provinces and cities, including Sichuan, Chongqing, Hubei, Hunan, Anhui, and Jiangxi, have been affected by the drought. And 2.46 million people and 350,000 large livestock have been affected. In Chongqing, a city of more than 31 million people, as many as 66 rivers and 25 reservoirs have dried up. There are 300,000 people in need of life assistance due to drought, of which 269,000 people have difficulty getting drinking water. This round of extreme weather comes just before the fall harvest, a critical period for the maturation of rice, soybeans, and other crops. The combination of high temperature and drought has had a very large impact on crop yields. The affected area of crops in Sichuan Province reached 433,000 hectares, and 47,000 hectares failed to harvest crops, resulting in a direct economic loss of 3.5 billion yuan. Sichuan Province is known as the land of abundance, and the output of 25 kinds of agricultural products ranks them first in the country. Among them, the output of tea accounts for 10% of the national output. The output of rapeseed oil reaches 30%, and the output of lemon accounts for 70% of the national. Sichuan is also a major breeding province in China, and the number of live pigs sold ranks first in the country, accounting for 10%. According to Chinese media reports, on August 20th, a pig farm in rural Sichuan suffered a power outage due to high temperatures, causing all the pigs to die from heat, and the farmer suffered heavy losses. On August 19th, at a fish farm in Mianyang, Sichuan Province, the water temperature in the pond was over 40 degrees due to the high temperature in the past few days. After the temporary power outage by the government, the fish lacked oxygen. The generator was damaged and could not be used, and a large number of dead fish were floating on the water. The owner of the pond said that about tens of thousands of kilograms of fish died and at least 50 to 60,000 yuan was lost. Pandas at the Sichuan Zoo had to lie on ice. In Hangzhou, pigs transported on trucks became dehydrated due to the heat, and firefighters rinsed them to cool them down. According to state media reports, chickens are refusing to eat feed and laying fewer eggs in the heat, causing egg prices to rise across the country. Pork is a staple in the Chinese diet, and the recent price hikes have already left people lamenting that they cannot afford to eat pork. This time, the disaster in Sichuan will surely push the price of food and pork up yet again. Some people are already worried about the famine after the drought and are calling on other Chinese people to stock up on food. The high temperature for several days has also sparked wildfires. According to Chinese official media reports, since August 17th, there have been forest fires in Jiangtze, Dazhu, Tongliang, Bannan, and other districts of Chongqing. The Air Rescue Corps of the Chongqing Municipal Emergency Bureau deployed 7 helicopters to put out the fire from the air. At present, the fire is under control. A total of 540 households with more than 1,500 people were transferred, with no casualties. Sichuan is the largest hydropower province in China, with 13 large hydropower stations, the largest in the country in terms of installed capacity and annual power generation. From 2016 to 2021, Sichuan hydropower accounted for more than 80% of the province, about a quarter of the country's hydropower. In addition, Sichuan has a large number of wind and photovoltaic power generation installations. As an important city in China's west-to-east power transmission project, Sichuan has delivered over 130 billion kilowatt-hours of electricity to Shanghai, Jiangsu, and Zhejiang for 6 consecutive years. However, due to the continuous high temperature and drought this year, the river water volume has dropped sharply. After entering July, Sichuan's hydropower generation has dropped by 50% and is still declining at a daily average rate of 2%. But even with the extreme situation of the highest electricity consumption, lowest water level, and lowest power generation, Sichuan's power generation capacity is still able to meet its own needs. However, since Sichuan's hydropower is arranged and deployed by the state, Sichuan needs to continue to transmit power to the east, even though it is already in a power crisis. Recently, due to the lack of electricity, the Sichuan and Chongqing local governments have continuously introduced power restrictions, claiming to protect people's livelihood and power grid security. From August 15th to 20th, all industrial enterprises in Sichuan province will have a high-temperature holiday for 6 days. Even key companies are no exception. At midnight on the 21st, Sichuan should have ended the power restrictions, but the official issued a notice on the 20th, announcing that Sichuan province will launch an emergency response to the first-level emergency energy supply guarantee at midnight on the 21st. A new round of power restrictions were launched, and the province has adopted partitioned and time-based rotational stoppages, with power outages from the 21st to the 26th. Moreover, Chongqing also announced a 10-day holiday for industrial companies in the region from the 15th to the 24th. Sichuan and Chongqing are important manufacturing centers in China. The world's major semiconductor manufacturers, such as Intel in the United States, also have factories in Chengdu. Sichuan is the world's notebook computer production base, and many Taiwanese foundry manufacturers have set up factories here. In addition, there are large electronics companies such as BOE, Foxconn, Changhong, Ziguang Zhanrui, and Vimicro International Corporation, and the world's largest car battery manufacturer, CATL, has a large factory in Sichuan province. There are also a large number of automobile and parts manufacturers such as Toyota, Volkswagen, and Shenlong Automobile. The power outages of industrial enterprises in the two places have affected the entire supply chain. It has even affected vehicle companies such as Tesla and SAIC in Shanghai. On August 17th, a document submitted by the Shanghai Municipal Commission of Economy and Information Technology to the Sichuan provincial government was circulated on social media. The document shows that in order to ensure the stable supply of the industrial chain in the two places, Shanghai requires Sichuan province to continue to supply power to auto parts suppliers located in the province to meet the continuous and sufficient production needs of enterprises. Caixin reported that SAIC and Tesla reported to the Shanghai Municipal Commission of Economy and Information that some power cuts in Sichuan province affected key auto parts suppliers, leading to shortages of parts for SAIC and Tesla and affecting the production line. Shanghai's coordination of Sichuan province's prioritization of power supply to automobile manufacturers has sparked doubts and dissatisfaction among the people of Chengdu. There is not enough electricity for people's livelihood, and you're still asking Sichuan to guarantee your supply chain? Don't our small businesses need electricity, and don't we need to live? Are all of Chengdu only cutting off electricity for Tesla's supply chain? What is the reason for your move? However, some netizens said that not only industrial companies have power outages, but also commercial, subway, office buildings, and even residential power consumption have reached their peak and require rotating power outages. Even the new energy charging piles have been affected, and some charging facilities of Tesla, Xpeng, NIO, and other car companies have suspended services, adding a lot of trouble for car owners. Although the official announcement said that orderly power cuts will be implemented for residential users, each power line is planned to suspend for about 2.5 hours. However, many netizens disclosed on the internet that the actual power outage time is not as officially announced at all, but is an unplanned and random power outage. Especially in the countryside, there is no schedule for power outages at all. In some places, there are even outages for more than 10 hours a day for several consecutive days, and water and natural gas are also cut off. People not only have to endure high temperatures above 40 degrees, but also cannot cook, and their lives have been severely affected. Even when electricity is available, residents are required to turn on their air conditioners to 27 degrees or more to save electricity. Since July, Guangdong, Sichuan, Chongqing, Jiangsu, Hainan, Shanghai, and other places have continued to have new COVID-19 outbreaks, and even single-digit cases have led to the entire closure of many communities. Citizens have queued up for nucleic acid testing under high temperatures. The people are suffering from the double disaster of the epidemic and continuous heat. The local government is also financially deprived due to this excessive epidemic prevention. Lu Ting, chief China economist at Nomura Securities, said that due to the downturn in the real estate industry, this year's land sales revenue of local governments will be reduced by about 40 to 50% compared with 2021, a decrease of 3.5 trillion yuan. The budget gap caused by the economic downturn is about 2.5 trillion yuan, and the annual fiscal gap is about 6 trillion yuan. Recently, Shanghai and Chengdu took the lead in announcing that regular nucleic acid testing is no longer free. The public must pay for testing as required, adding yet another burden. China's economy was originally under heavy pressure due to zeroing COVID prevention, city closures, and the debt crisis in the real estate industry. Now it has been hit by large-scale droughts and power cuts, which can be said to be a combination of natural and man-made disasters. The economic downturn and business shutdowns will ultimately affect the employment and life of residents, and it is the common people who will suffer.